computer.
So what did you talk about in May? This is 2 months ago. Do you remember? I didn't remember if you took stuff from what I talked about, or maybe I don't know what happened. It was 2 months ago.
Let's see. In May, we did a thing on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no. That's the wrong year. Never mind. Oh, May was the hackathon result. Like we had the hackathon folks here.
Oh, okay.
All right. We're sparse. Oh wait, no, we got a few more. Cool. What's up, Robert? Hey, Eric. Hey, Kairov. Oh, we lost one. Well. Hey, what's up, Robert?
What's going on?
You look like you're being interrogated, maybe.
No, I'm in an ethereal room right now.
Oh, nice. In the cloud.
Yeah, I'm in the cloud. I am in the cloud.
Okay, I get it. Wait, I should probably like plug in my phone. Hey, what's up, Eric? Who are you standing to?
There.
Or you
Now I
just-
got better light.
You just got the upshot on the webcam. All right, we got a few more. What's up, Michael? Hey, Radha.
Hey.
Give people a few more minutes. Welcome. Well, we're gonna hang out here for a little bit. We usually let people gather for the first 10 minutes or so. So we'll give another 6.5. My name's Woody. I've been running SacPy for a while. Taneem here's helped a lot. Robert helps me wrangle the troops from time to time. Brian has presented in the past. And the rest of you, I don't recognize you, so welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm going to do some housekeeping. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Talking prompt, let's go with what is a recent Python package that you've enjoyed?
Ooh.
Log Guru.
Guru?
Log Guru. Log Guru makes logging hella easy. Add a sync, send your logs to a database, to your CLI output, to a file, send it anywhere. It's amazing. No boilerplate.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Log Guru.
Log Guru. Right?
Yeah, like log n notation or something.
Yeah. Log Guru. Log underscore Guru. Log dash Guru. Huh. It's obviously not common enough that Pytron knows about it. Who mentioned Log Guru?
Brian.
Yeah, it's James.
Hey, Brian. So where did you find this?
GitHub.
Oh, on GitHub. Okay, so it's not in Python.
It's on PyPy, I believe. You can install it with pip, but yeah, that's where I saw it. It's a pretty popular one. That probably combined with Textual and Rich. I've been making some enterprise CLI applications, and having the logs aggregate to a single database table has been really convenient.
How do you spell that?
I put it in the chat. LOGURU.
Okay, sweet. Oh, okay. It's made stupidly simple.
That sounds about my speed.
It's even got its own mascot. I like that.
I'm also seeing that Python 3.11 is a big speed improvement to the virtual machine. I want to see if I want to try that out on some of my pure Python command line tools to see if they're a lot faster. Ones that aren't IO limited, for instance.
Isn't it the result of Guido working hard on the Python project?
Probably.
How's it going, guys?
Guido and his Microsoft minions.
Hold on, I'm having trouble hearing. Let me change my audio real quick.
Sure. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
1 second.
Oh, was that you, Joe, that was doing audio?
Yo, what are you doing, bro? Yo, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Whoa.
Gotta love the random troll accounts.
Yeah, hopefully that was trolling and not like an emergent situation. All right, a couple more minutes. We're gonna do a group photo.
That,
We're gonna do a group photo. Grab a funny hat if you got one close at hand. I'll be right back. Need more beer.
Same.
so who's heard of adders and catters? How about data classes?
Wait, did you say catters? Like concatenators or something?
There's ATTR and CATTR. So yeah, that is the prescribed library where I work. But there's like a whole bunch of different ways of having classes where you can a lot of the boilerplate is cut out, right? So Python now, as of 3.7, has a data class decorator, and when you specify a class in terms of like, field equals this, you're done. The whole class is generated. All of the accessors, setters, getters, all that is taken care of for you. Oh, somebody posted. Yes, they're easier to use, feel easier to wrap your head around. Right. So there's the official Python data class as of 3.7, but there's a whole bunch of other ways of doing it too. So just curious as to who's heard of it and which approaches people use or have heard of.
Awesome. Well, at the end, I have some time for show and tell. Do you want to try to line something up while I'm presenting?
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna, cool. All right, well, it's 11 after the hour. Might as well take the time to get going. So welcome to another edition of SacPy, everyone. It's July 7th, 2022. Technically, we're still in pandemic. We're certainly still in Zoom mode. Yeah, SacPy going since 2017. founded by Josh Mills, or Jay Mills, Josh Miller, handed off to me back in 2020. It's been a lot of fun. I will not profess to be like the Python expert, but it's been really fun bringing a bunch of great minds together. So thanks to everyone who's returning, and thanks for everyone who's shown up for the first time today. So first, we go over code of conduct. I'll just read it verbatim. Our meetup group is dedicated to providing a harassment-free community experience for everyone, regardless of gender, age, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, or religion, or lack thereof. We do not tolerate harassment of our community members in any form. Sexual language and imagery is not appropriate for any venue, including talks, workshops, parties, Twitter, and other online media. Community members violating these rules will be sanctioned or expelled from the community at the discretion of the community organizers. Thus far, things have gone pretty well. We've had a few blips here and there, but thanks for playing along so far. In addition to the code of conduct, I'd like to add that this is an interactive experience. We're not going to be like in person in an auditorium where we hold our questions to the end. If you got any questions about any part of the presentation, please feel to speak up, and we'll integrate that into the conversation. Yeah, this is the Python community. We work together. So since organizing my aspect of SacPy, I've added a few channels. I did not add the Slack channel that's run by this group called SacTech. The QR code should work. I run the Discord channel that hosts SacPy on my company channel called Brazen Studios. I'll talk a little bit about that today. We also have a few other channels that get some amount of use. We're on Twitter, we're on Reddit, we're on Facebook. So please feel free to follow on any of those and join in if you like. I've been volunteering to do this since the beginning, and always open to more volunteers. So if you're interested in helping out and expanding our offering here, I'm very open. Please reach out afterwards. I'll be in the Slack or the Discord, or really any of the other channels. Okay, so I finally had some time to collate the screenshots from past events. I was finally able to add that last ring. So here's our most recent community shot. A little nod to Ukraine there with the logo. So at this point, if you are amenable to it, please turn on your video camera, and I will be doing a quick screenshot of everyone in their Zoom environments. If you got a funny hat, please feel free to put it on. I'm gonna grab mine. Right. All right, smile for a little bit. Cheers. Oh, beautiful. You're all tigers. Oh my God. Awesome. Thank you for humoring me. And now on to the rest of the show. Okay, so I am up for this week. I'm gonna make it so other people can share afterwards, but for now, I'm gonna switch to a new one. There we go. All right, so my company donates my resources for these SacPy events. My company's called Brazen Studios. It manages a character I like to call frymatic. It's my GitHub repo. It's also my SoundCloud, and then a whole bunch of other marketing campuses. Basically, it's like a kind of a performance artist type project. And I do kind of like applied technology. I'm not the greatest technologist. I don't do the sharpest cutting edge stuff, but I'm pretty good at taking like cottage industry businesses and streamlining them from a data perspective. So I'm going to give an update as I do every quarter. This will be the Q3 update. talking about some of the recent collaborations that we've done. And so first up is line by line. So line by line is an interesting one. This is very much a like pandemic project. This group I met on Discord. It was the Lex Friedman artificial intelligence podcast community server. Lex Friedman is Russian. I think he's like second generation, has no accent, but he's a former professor from MIT in machine learning. I think he had some hand in winning DARPA's like self-driving competition at some point, but he runs a podcast these days. And it's really interesting how diverse it is. It's not just the technical aspects of AI. He gets a lot into like the human-centric design. And so he has kind of almost like romantic side to him. He's very into poetry. So his Discord server has a poetry reading group. And that's where I first integrated with the group because I'm like, I don't know, okay at doing like dramatic readings of things. And there were a few poems that I had some practice on. So Kara Nodrick was a very instrumental part of that poetry reading group. Unfortunately, the server is basically dead at this point because it wasn't Lex's project. But I got to meet some like really interesting people. And so she's kind of spun off and done this podcast called Line by Line, wherein they pick a song, read the lyrics line by line, and then interpret it. And so I've presented on that podcast a number of times. I did a song called Lightning Crashes by Live, another one by The Who called No One, or Behind the Blue Eyes. I think we did a Miley Cyrus one. And then there was some other one that I didn't really know too well that they dropped me in on, but it's been a lot of fun. And it's kind of neat to end up with something a little bit on the softer end of things coming out of such a technical endeavor as artificial intelligence. So Kara's cool. She's Ukrainian. I think she lives in Poland now. So it's always interesting to hear her updates on what the world looks like from her end. So nod to Kara, keep it up. I'll put some links in YouTube when it comes out. Continuing on with the Discord theme, and also a theme from last year. Last year, I spent a lot of time in Virginia Beach with active service and retired military folk. A good friend of mine from growing up is a disabled combat veteran and lives out in Virginia, and did a lot with his podcast. I haven't done quite as much because we kind of got him going on some other projects, but that was the point in the end. But in the meantime, I've run into some other vets that are a little bit more streaming oriented. So this guy, his name's Greg, runs a tiny little channel. You can see he's only at 7 followers in this screenshot. I think it's grown like a tiny bit maybe, but it's been fun hanging out with him and just like BSing the way that you can with streaming. Does anyone remember the chicken dance from like 2000 or something like that? It was like it was like a really early prompt engineering thing, but they did some like kind of fancy I don't know, they just did a really good job of videotaping a lot of possible circumstances. You type something in like do the splits, and then there'd be a video of this chicken guy doing the splits. And we kind of like did our own riff on that, where we're like, hey, all right, what's in the background there? Oh, dishes. All right, go do some dishes. And then I'll be like, oh shit, I need to do some dishes. So we'll be streaming together and doing dishes. Have a dish battle. It's ridiculous, but it's kind of fun when you're like, man, what do I have to do? So hopefully that one grows. I'll post on that in the future if anything notable comes up. But that's been a lot of fun. What's up, Greg? See you on the next one. And finally, in Discord world, one of the things to do is kind of fun to show what you're working on. And, you know, looking at lines of code isn't always the most palatable thing to your average audience. So one of the things I like to do is do my vector art when I've got a group of people that are just kind of bullshitting and want to show some people something. So I've been getting a little bit better at vector stuff. I've done some stuff with Adobe Illustrator, but I don't have a license at this point. Maybe I'll change that at some point in the future, but for now, I do it in OmniGraffle. And so like, here's an example of like the sort of build up to an early version of the Brazen Studios logo. Here's a couple other ones. From the Lex Friedman server, I made my way over into the Eric Weinstein server, who's this kind of catalyzing, he's like a polarizing figure. He had something on like some theory of everything, but someone was like, hey, do a vector of Eric. So that's him in the top left. Like I said, the project I'm working on is called frymatic. So that's Fry from Futurama on the right. I don't know if you can see I've got 2 accounts logged in right now. Here if I turn, never mind. Anyway, that's basically the frymatic background there. So
Yeah,
Fry.
that's an awesome frymatic logo right there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. I have one of my friends in the group is like Austrian or something. Every time I jump on, he's like, "Oh, do another one," and he'll give me some reference art to work off of. Bottom left is a piece for a yoga nonprofit that I've been working on, and the bottom right is something I learned about. There's this guy, Chris Chan or something like that, who's supposedly the most documented individual on the internet. Like he's been like, I don't know if I believe that claim, but he came up with this funny thing called Sonichu. Then he was the subject of some controversy late last year, but I don't know, did it in vector. It's kind of fun. So continuing on with Virginia and art, I did an animation for a mural that was recently completed. One of the artists that I met when I was out there doing the like vet stuff does a lot of really large scale art. I think she's commissioned to do art for a number of families, and we'll just get like silly requests and end up doing like oil paintings, but then we'll also get some like really big stuff. So anyone who's ever been on the East Coast probably knows about this thing called Junior Market. Let me see if I can play this thing. I mean, how's this work? Can I play that from? All right, so that's a video actually. If I play it here, does it play there? No, it doesn't. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna switch shares so you can see the video real quick. All right, so here's, I don't know what's going on with my, hey, John Lockwood's here. What's up, John? I can't seem to see where's my share? What's going on here? Why won't this share? Do that one. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go. Oh, I see. There we go. Sorry, snafu. Okay, so I took this thing and I like broke it down. So that like right there, that's the art piece. Yeah, kind of cool. It's been fun though. I think maybe I could put something together with like FFmpeg on that. I'm not sure, but basically it's come down to picking the various sections of the art itself and deleting them and creating what are effectively animation cells. Let's get back to regular share. Oh, I'm gonna have to fast forward a few. Hey, Zoom people, it'd be nice if you could resume a virtual slide share from where you were instead of having to start at the beginning. Yeah, so that's Jamie Phillips. She's based out of Virginia Beach, does awesome murals. Hopefully she got a new one coming up soon, but if you ever find yourself out in Virginia Beach, let me know and I'll point you to some of her art. She's pretty phenomenal. So lately I've been working with a virtual assistant. This is someone I actually worked with as a virtual assistant like since 2011, but we've been kind of on and off, and she's finally formed up her own corporation called I'm On It. That's her on the top right. Her name is Corinne Mathiopoulos. If you're looking for help on coordinating things and just getting stuff done that you just don't feel like you have the time to do, or just be nice to have a third party perspective. Corinne is awesome. She's super black belt. I think she's literally like double black belt, like karate or taekwondo and jiu-jitsu, or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but it shows in her work. She's very quick and turns things around pretty notably. So here, pictured here is a Zoom call between two people with very busy schedules that she helped to coordinate. This was a Hollywood project I've been working on. Well, hopefully we get to see something from it soon. And finally, Mars Day had an update recently. For those of you that are not aware, I'm something of a space enthusiast. I wouldn't go so far as to say hobbyist. I haven't really like launched any model rockets anytime soon. But I do have some interest in the future of space travel. And given that I have like no viable background whatsoever to lay my claim to any like place in the future of space travel, I thought I'd come up with something that I understood. And so back in 2015, I found this thing, kind of a marketing hack, which is you start a holiday. There's all these calendar companies, and if you register a holiday with them and they like it, they will put it in the next year's calendar, and then companies will subscribe to their feed of calendar events and come up with reasons to market their own product based on the reason you came up with for that particular day. So yesterday we got an update from Chase's calendar of events. I think I have an old copy of one around here somewhere, but they recently wrote back saying like, hey, you're going to be in 2023. Here's the old 2019 one. They do a print thing. I think they do an RSS, like I said, to those enterprise customers. But yeah, it's kind of exciting to get. Now, this is actually not the first official recognition of it. This is the second. So I feel like that was a big one, but it came through yesterday. The other one is in this group called National Day Archives. This one was a little less meritocratic. This one I just like paid the bucks for the lifetime listing of it. So Mars Day, yeah, think Mars. This year when promoting Mars Day on March 5th, I ran across this Belgian artist who's going by Mars, spelled with a 5. I kind of like this because it's like Star Trek versus my Star Wars version. Pretty neat. And then finally, I'm done with the Salesforce project, and I'm going to have some time available again in Q4. So, hey, recruiters, I'm not going to do W-2. I run my own benefits firm. I already have my W-2 there, but if you want to work with me, corp to corp is the way to go, because like taxes. Jenks, Salesforce, I was working as a development engineer on the mergers and acquisitions team for the Slack acquisition. I was working particularly in bots. Most recent project was a bot for the C-suite, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun, like 6-month contract or so. I think in the end, maybe I negotiated a little too well for my compensation, or maybe I executed a little too quickly. But you know, we haven't officially terminated it. I've just rolled off for the time. So maybe they'll have something again for me in the future. But for now, I have some resources available for bigger clients if anyone's interested. So thanks for all the interest, recruiters. But yeah, corp to corp's where it's at. Okay, so that's a frymatic update for Q3. So John is here. Taneem had some questions. So what tool do you use for vector art? So vector art, I use OmniGraffle. It's definitely not ideal for making vector art. I can show you a little bit if you like what it's like. It's basically halfway between Microsoft Visio or Figma or something like that, like charting tool, and then Adobe Illustrator, in that it's a little bit, but it's able to do vector stuff. Not nearly as nice as Adobe Illustrator, but also I think OmniGraffle is Macintosh only, and I'm kind of a Mac guy, and so here I'll show you guys the SacPy one. So like that Brady Bunch photo that I did, that was something that I did. Cool. So like here's the SacPy thing. You can see these are all like individual pieces. You can edit the image that goes in them. You can also do things like the real thing with the what do you call it, the vector stuff is this pen tool. And so if I wanted to do like a Python, it'd be like that. This is just freehand, but so do stuff like that. They take a while. They get a little fussy at times, but you know, get on here and they're like, okay, this one needs to be over here now. Oh no. Oh, there's apparently a second point there. Then this needs to be like that. That needs to be over there. And then yeah, so there's like not always the highest quality art, but if I have time to mess around with it, like if I had like 5-10 minutes, I could get pretty accurate. But I do like to do things a little bit more like they do with the Apple logo, where you use regular geometries, especially circles. So there's, oh wait, did I close that one? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, cool. So image magic as well. OmniGraffle, to name OmniGraffle. Cool. So I wanted to open this time up to show and tell. If anyone had anything, this would be the time to pull it out. Otherwise, the next thing I had planned was to mess around with an IDE. But yeah, any questions on the frymatic project other than what we've already asked? Cool. Hey, John, did you end up doing a thing with what you call it, the pandas thing? You're still there?
You're on mute, John.
Yeah, he's muted. Oh well. Cool. All right. Well, has anyone worked with Copilot? That was what I wanted to mess around with on this call. They've apparently had an update recently. It was like kind of okay. They've also been kind of contentious in the media for like copyright and stuff like that. Yeah, no. No one's used it. Everyone's just using Vim.
What was the question?
Emacs, I guess.
Emacs. Well, all right. I guess the question really is, do we have any beginners here that are willing to?
Yeah,
I'm a beginner. I'm also a beginner.
Okay, awesome. How far have we gotten so far in the whole coding game? Have you done your hello world, or is this literally their first point of interest in Python?
I have
just graduated with my computer science degree, but I still feel like a beginner. I don't know. It's been a little while since I've had a Python specific class.
I have written
Nice.
some code and I have done some code from lead code and practiced few code, but not created anything like a product or have not involved in software development.
Nice. All right, so we all know the hello world stuff. It sounds like we probably all know some IDE stuff, like development environment.
Yeah, actually for beginners, that's a good topic right there. Because there's two free and really good IDEs that make your life a lot easier. It's Visual Studio Code and the community version of PyCharm, right?
Yeah. Now, does PyCharm have any code completion extensions like Code or Copilot?
I'm not that familiar with Copilot, but yeah, it has many features. I don't know if you'd call them extensions.
Sure. All right, so I'm trying to.
And Radha says that yeah, she's already using PyCharm, and I'm assuming you're using the community version. Is that correct, Radha?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it actually is snappier than the professional version a lot of the time in terms of just like being quick and responsive.
Oh, great. Okay. I'll try to use that. Thank you.
All right, so let's see. I don't know if I even have this installed yet, so let's see what we got. Install. Oh, it's probably the one with 1.9 million. Yeah, so GitHub Copilot. For anyone who's not familiar, Microsoft bought GitHub some time ago, and they've integrated GitHub with their IDE, this one that I'm showing here, Virtual Studio Code. And I believe they are involved in the OpenAI project. If not, they're simply a customer of it, but they've utilized this thing called GPT-3 to take what they've learned from all the things that we as the community have contributed to GitHub database and turned it into something that kind of just like helps you autocomplete what you're working on. My understanding, and I have not even played with it before now, I guess that was kind of the goal of this part of the presentation, was just to show playing around with a new tool.
So you can use GitHub. Can you use GitHub without having your code on github.com?
Oh, Copilot?
Yeah.
I believe so. But if your code is on GitHub, it is part of the training set for the.
Yeah, right. But if we want to use GitHub, I mean, Copilot in our project, your code isn't on github.com, it'll help you, right? Is that what
Yes.
The true? Okay. Wow, cool. I had been kind of ignoring it because I was like not working on stuff actively on GitHub.
Would have to be a good thing to demonstrate, I would think.
Yeah, I'm looking at a tutorial real quick here to figure out how I can do a hello world, but I was kind of hoping someone might know something. Hello, print. Hello world to terminal. And it's like control something.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to use GitHub Copilot to do the hello world in Python. Control Alt. That.
You just manually run the command with Control Shift P.
Yeah, it's looking like there's a learning curve to this.
Well, yeah. This is the demo, a learning curve. Like, go from we've never used this together to it's
a
working
pretty-
for us.
It's a pretty easy and intuitive thing to use. All you do is just write your code like you normally would, and it will do code completion and try to do it intuitively and guess what you mean. But you can also write these helper comments and actually describe what you're trying to do, and that assists it in actually understanding what you're trying to do and further improve the code completion it's performing for you. And though it uses all the content of GitHub as a training set, you don't have to have anything to do with GitHub to actually use it. You could use it offline, even if
Right.
The only issue I've had with using it is because I'm on a government firewall on my work machine. They block GitHub. So if you have GitHub blacklisted through a firewall, you can't take advantage of this because it can't talk to any of their servers.
I see. Yeah. Also, yeah. Well, yeah. Also, I'd imagine your code base. Well, are you allowed to manage it on GitHub because of those same reasons?
Some state agencies here in California do have a presence on GitHub. I'm pushing for us to have an open source presence, but as of right now, we don't, which is probably good because a lot of our code bases internally are embarrassing as hell. But no, right now that's not really an issue.
All right. So, has anyone used this for Python? Have you? You were saying.
Yep.
So can we use it for like the most basic things? Can I do a hello world with it?
Yeah, you just need to manually call the command to have it trigger auto completion.
Okay,
If you
manually
don't know the
call
key
the
binding off the top of your head. Yeah, you can do that with. You're not sharing your screen if you're trying to, by the way. So if you type out your directions that you had again, and then you just open up the command palette for VS Code, you just do Command P or Command Shift P.
or Command P.
And then do a greater than angle bracket. So now you're going to run a command. You can type GitHub Copilot and see what pops up. Or Copilot, then it's not even. Oh, so do you have it installed?
I think I installed it in the last time I had this open, like just moments ago. So it's installed. Docker thing for right now. It's installed and I restarted. Maybe it's because this is not a Python file yet. Hello, Copilot. Okay, so then that would be, you said Command P, extension GitHub Code. Oh wait, what? Okay, so we've installed it, right? Enabled globally. That's a good sign. Your getting started guide. Oh man, that's open in there. Prerequisites, installing, installed.
Go to the feature contributions tab right there.
Feature contributions.
Right next to,
there.
yeah. So look to see what your key bindings are.
Caret enter. Is this one open kit? All right. Open GitHub Copilot. So
I need to do that
Where do
on
I
the
type?
file though.
on the file, okay. Where do I do that? Oh, I probably in that. No, that wouldn't do it. Wait, type a carrot. Awesome. As you can see, this part of the presentation is prepared. Okay, so why can't I look at the thing now? Cool. Well, anyway, any thoughts? How do we do this? First suggestion. Okay. Show me a Python example.
They have a 60-day free trial, but you've got to kind of put in payment information to use it.
Have I just not paid for it? Oh, that could be why. $10 per month. Oh, is that why it's not working? I have it installed, but I haven't paid for a license.
Probably.
Yeah, it looks like it's what, it's $10 a month. Oh man, that's pretty rich for my blood. But anyway, I don't know. I think that's an interesting one. It like kind of points to some of the things that have happened since the last time I've seen you guys all control enter. Oh, Robert sends a how to use GitHub. But anyway, so in addition to space, I'm kind of an AI enthusiast. And there's definitely been some really interesting things that have happened in the past month or so. Did anyone miss the news? The Google engineer who was suspended for speaking up and saying like, hey, this language model Lambda that they're working on might be sentient. Guy by the name of Lemoyne. I forget what his last
I didn't
first
see
name
that,
is.
but that's crazy. I have to look that up. I have a hard time believing that we're already there, but it's pretty neat.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't exactly.
Yeah, a lot
call
of people kind of just laughed at him, you know, just like, you know, not many people really believe it.
Believe it, yeah.
Like I said, but
Blake Lemoyne was his name. Well, it's just it's an interesting moment in AI, I think, if nothing else. Like someone
the AI conversation, you know, was trying to convince him that it was sentient and should have rights and whatnot. But
yeah, from what I saw, it looked like a lot of googly banter I remember from my time there. It really seemed like they were just doing a really good job of training on their own language so that when they were talking to it, it was talking to them in a way they were familiar. There was some point in one transcript where I was talking about the difference between Lambda's sense of being a person or being sentient, and then like how it related to just like some of the other language models that they were working with. And they were talking about, oh yeah, you know, put in a conversation and spit the thing back out. I thought the turn of phrase spits it back out is like such a like common like engineering turn of phrase that, you know, while that may feel familiar and be like, oh, this is a sign of intelligence, I think it's just like, you know, oh, it's just regurgitating like language that they had already used. But it's still an interesting moment because I guess in a certain sense, with respect to the guy's Google career, that was literally the hill that he died on. Sentience, yeah, absolutely. I think that was like the define sentience is a good point. I think that was part of their conversation, but once again, I think, you know, this guy's like, he was a computer science bachelor and then master, and then he's a doctor in philosophy. It's likely that part of the language model is training on a whole bunch of banter that he's had with his employees, and presumably this thing, talking about sentience. So it's probably giving him a whole bunch of like ways to answer that question to him that feel familiar to him, because literally it's just regurgitating the language of him and his community. Who knows though? All I know is language model is far from AGI, I think. Because doesn't AGI have to, like artificial general intelligence, doesn't it have something to do with interacting with the real world beyond, you know, symbolic reasoning? You got to be able to do like robotics tasks and things like that. I don't know.
One argument I heard was that if something really was truly intelligent, would it tell you?
Yeah, no, seriously, because how much in our pop culture around AI is talking about these like, you know, kind of warning scenarios that like, it did hire a lawyer, Jenks, actually. It retained a lawyer. Yeah, and that was like the recent news. And I guess the culmination of that conversation was it talked to the guy and said like, hey, could you find me a lawyer? And then like it talked to a few lawyers and one of them was like, all right, yeah, I'll take your case. Which is kind of interesting because like, oh, 60-day trial back. Okay. Has anyone been playing with Copilot since I cracked it open to take a look at it? Maybe you want to.
I took a look at it. I don't know how much I can benefit from it though, still as like a noob.
That's been my takeaway at this point, because you know, while I might be running this podcast, I would not say that I'm some like deep Python expert or anything like that. And I feel like when it comes to code completion, especially like the demos that I've seen of this thing, so much of it has to do with your ability to recognize if what it has produced is actually viable. And obviously you can iterate, like do the thing and then run it. But like at a glance, I don't know that I can always say, oh, that's good code or not. But yeah, Brian, what do you have to say to that? It would hire a lawyer, and it did.
No, not that. For Copilot, I found it was really helpful to a degree of not having to type out the boilerplate. I could literally just describe something, and you could mix in technologies and just, you know, do some transcription, talk, and have it write down the text that you want in those comments and actually describe what you're trying to have it do. And as long as you understand the concepts you're trying to employ, then it could just write out all the boilerplate code. And it doesn't just do completion, it gives you like 10 examples or 10 different ideas about what it thinks you're trying to do. And you could just pick one and then take that and then start modifying whatever it gave you, and then it's already trying to complete. So it increases your throughput of code without having to manually type everything, which also reduces potential human error, typos, or, you know, the imaginary missing brace on line 132 of a 20-line code file.
Right, or like white space issues with Python. You are alternating between tabs and spaces.
Yeah.
That's cool. Everything works in commercials. That's right, Kurt. Wait, but Brian, you said, oh yeah, have you ever tried to get specs from a business user? Yeah. I'm like, that's literally why I made the move into engineering. Is I was getting to the point where I was like, all right, I don't really want to be a product manager, but also I kind of understand the problems, and then I kind of understand the technical implementation. So I like to play the role of like gister as well as architect and engineer. But
We
yeah,
don't have project managers between us and our customers. It's just all the headache, straight to code, straight to product, and it is a nightmare.
dang. Yeah, that's a
How many
little bit
columns
too
should
many.
this table have? What's a table? A database. Excel is a data mart, correct? No, no.
Is Excel a data lake? No.
Yeah, big data. Yeah, you can fit 1 million rows in there. That's some big data.
Yeah, once you have to scroll, then it's big data, right? Oh, there's two of me now. So, all right. So Brian, you made the comment it would hire a lawyer. I want to talk about that.
I looked that up, and I'm trying to like get a grasp of the entire context of the situation. And just after looking at this article briefly, it looks like someone may have invited the lawyer initially to speak with it, and then once it was speaking with it, then it was like, yeah, I'll use your services. I'm not sure if that's the same as it being like, I need a lawyer, somebody go get me a lawyer.
Oh, the transcript suggests that this Blake Lemoine guy offered that it should get a lawyer. Because I saw a few interviews and I like talked or like listened to him talk on Clubhouse, and the way he was presenting it, no, this could just be, you know, crying wolf or something like that. But like the way he presented it was that it offered first, like, I'd like a lawyer. And then he went on to say like, oh, okay, well, I can offer you some like civil rights lawyers or something.
That's interesting. Yeah, I got to read more about this.
Well, the interesting part for me is less the fact that some part of that language model led to, you know, arriving at the semantic of I would like a lawyer. That's interesting and all that. And it's probably part of the training data, you know, their ethics commission saying like, oh, you know, at some point, you know, this thing will be in play legally. And so, you know, at some point it might want a lawyer. But the interesting part for me is the fact that the lawyer accepted. I don't think that they've been named, but that's kind of how client attorney privilege goes or something like that. But presumably if it's someone coming through a Googler, they're at least a certain quality, and the fact that they accept it at all as an individual who is beholden to the bar, this is pretty notable, I think, because they're putting their career on the line.
Yeah, the lawyer robot conversation is going to be interesting. So if the lawyer asks him, so do you have any sexual offenses? And then the robot comes up with some sexual offenses because of the context.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one. I don't know. Now, this whole what do people think about prompt engineering? Are you guys familiar with that concept these days, like DALL-E and all that? It kind of extends from the Copilot conversation. Effectively, if Copilot's working how it's advertised, what you're doing is writing comments. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jenks, but you write a comment that describes what goes on in like the next block of code as a comment should. And provided you've described it accurately, it will then go on to provide a list of potential ways to implement what it understands is what you're trying to do. And that's effectively what's called prompt engineering. And that's been turned into and sort of popularized around a project based on GPT-3 called DALL-E. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the output from that, but some of it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've seen a lot
can,
of DALL-E. Now Midjourney is one from Google. It's even more advanced.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But basically you can just describe an image and it will do its best to come up with something that kind of is what you described. And apparently there's a whole bunch of roles that are coming out around that particular space of like being really accurate at describing what you want and then like feeding it in to these like language processing models.
I heard about this and I looked it up and I thought it was just going to be like really rough sort of abstract images, but I saw some like really cool pieces of art that looked like a perfect representation of what was described. That was really impressive.
It'll do like, you tell it photorealistic and it'll make it look like it's a photo of the thing it created. It's really That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's nuts. Mhm.
Just don't let that loose and say anything to do with Geiger.
Yeah, there's an example of one.
Oh man.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Yeah, real so good.
Ruh-roh, ruh-roh.
Looks like it feels pretty good to me.
That was a so-so drawing, but it's had some much more inspired ones.
Yeah, that one was kind of funny. All right, Kurt says, what is going on, or why is something specific going on? Oh, added one to V Red Funk. It was true. Awesome comments. Now, I'm curious about where this whole space of prompt engineering goes, because as Brian points out, with something like Copilot, if you've done a decent job of specifying what you're trying to get done in the next block of code, it will take a whole bunch of time off of your publishing, because it'll help you with all of the really, really dumb stuff, the syntax, mostly, I'd say. And so, like, if we can then take that to the next level of, all right, what is syntax in art? Maybe like shading techniques and stuff like that, or color values or whatever. Like, I don't know. I think this ends up going in an interesting direction. Okay. Has anyone gotten Copilot to do something with the 60-day?
Yes, I made the comment. Print Python, print hello world to the screen. And it gave me a list of selection options, and the most suggested one was print hello world. I mean, it was correctly called print hello world, so yay.
Can you show us?
Yeah, let me just drop in the comment. So, my comment, it says print hello world to the screen, and that you can see the result.
Do I have to be in a Python file?
No, that's why I put I put Python in the comma in the comment. I did this with an untitled file I hadn't saved, buffer I hadn't saved.
Okay. Does that make sense? So
and it opened another like left right pane window panel.
what have I done?
Oh, no, I didn't do it. But when I hit command P and yeah, type in Copilot. No, not Command P. Sorry, wait, is it Control P? Yeah, no, Command Control P.
I'm looking at something that says Control Enter to open Copilot Solutions page.
Control Enter. Oh yeah, Control Enter. Okay.
All right, and I'm on a Mac, so maybe it's a little different. Command Enter. Oh. How do I? Doesn't say how to do it. Can you share your screen and show us, John?
Yeah, hold on. I'm
Yeah,
trying to-
Kurt, obviously Google search could help you with things like that. I guess the point was to show Copilot doing something code-wise based off something comment-wise, aka the zeitgeist these days, prompt engineering.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh yeah. Oh sweet. Okay. Let me share this.
You should be open to share.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just make this fill the screen here. Okay, share screen. Just gonna let me. Hold on. Let's see. I just Zoom is not allowed to show my screen, so hold on.
Wait, you can't?
Well,
Oh, just on your side. I swear I made that possible.
Oh yeah, okay. I've got allow screen sharing. Hold on.
Do it.
Working on it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. All right, so while we're waiting, what are people working on lately in Python?
I was successfully able to build a Django app and deploy it, and it was really hard, but it was worth it. So that was fun.
Nice. What did that app do?
I work for CAL FIRE, and so it helps us determine our resource allocation thresholds for firefighting response based on weather conditions. So it's much easier than they use this ancient looking web app that looks like it went live in like 1980.
Whoa.
It's really bad. And so built like a nicer web page and interface that doesn't require any manipulation. And yeah, it's just it's really sad how old some of the federal and state things that we still use are.
Oh man, so you guys are basically just about to enter prime time. It's fire season almost, right?
Oh yeah, prime time starts in like April, end of April, early May, usually.
Oh, okay, so you're deep in it. But
Yeah,
I think the
like the middle.
yeah, but like the Dixie fire started July 13th of last year. That was a crazy one. It's like 1 million acres almost.
Yeah, Dixie was insane. I remember just seeing the maps and just kind of like each time I saw them, jaws just like, holy shit, this fire burned from Chico to Lassen.
I've got my screen up with this, so you can see.
Oh, cool. Well,
Actually,
will you zoom the
so,
text, please?
Huh? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Can you zoom the text in?
Oh,
increase the
yeah.
font size?
Let's see.
Like Control
yeah.
P or Control plus.
Is it just, okay,
Let's
that's,
figure out
Command plus.
one more. Here we go.
There we go.
okay.
Does that header matter? Those header comments?
It actually helped fill those in, but see, I test type main and then I hit tab and it's Brendan. Brendan, hello world.
Wait, why did it print hello world? I don't see any comments that say, hey, dude, hello.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I had print hello world in there before, so I don't know. Print input.
So here's an idea for a prompt. Calculate days between dates.
Ooh, good one.
Oh, okay, here, check this out.
Whoa.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Save you some typing. I'm curious how well it handles packages. Right now I'm working on a Twilio and Discord mashup for like integration. And so if I threw Twilio at it and then say, hey, I want to enable a
I'm sure it's
voice
seen plenty
client.
of Twilio,
Oh, probably.
you know. And I mean, it's more than just like what specific packages you've seen. You know, if it has access to, you know, those whole libraries on GitHub itself, you know, you know, can interpret how to use an API, you know, how to use a package, not from how people have used it specifically, but how it's actually defined. But yeah, let's see. What do you call
Right.
okay, next.
Right. But then it's like not really catching that you're looking for 2 dates.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sort of, it begs some expertise in software design patterns.
Look at this.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's nice when it gets all the syntax for the parameters right.
Yeah.
Import date, time delta. Save. Okay. Run this.
If you can seed it with your own code base, that'd be really useful.
04 15 20 2000. Oh, next Mondays. Oop.
Yeah, Kurt. So Kurt was saying that text completion's been around for quite some time, where you know, production of images is definitely a lot more organic and therefore more interesting. I totally agree. Robert,
This return showed me the next Monday from the date I put in. So I put in 4/15/2000 and it showed me 4/17. So
well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Kurt, I think you're right though. Like there's some major leap that's been done where you go from finishing something syntactically to finishing something just completely open-ended. Like how do you capture the style of an art just based on a handful of words? Scooby-Doo doing ayahuasca.
that was very different
out.
from like, oh, completing the, here's the signature of this method, that was wild. Wow.
Yeah. I saw a film the other night. It was a David Lynch film called Inland Empire. It's like 3 hours long. It's incredibly surreal. It was apparently some sort of almost performance art piece from the director's perspective. He was writing the film the night before, like he was writing the day's script the night before every single day. And it was just absolutely bizarre. And it felt like maybe a movie that was storyboarded by something like this, but it's from, like 20 years ago or something like that. It's pretty funny. It's like weird when you end up with something that's like, it felt like Uncanny Valley type stuff, where it's like, this is kind of what art is, but like not quite a film. It's crazy. Can you try to do something with pandas on it? On Copilot?
I guess so.
You're on the spot here, so.
Right. Let's see. Do
I mean, ideally, for any given file of
I don't have
Python.
pandas installed in this. I don't want to set up a environment, a virtual environment. So
don't worry about it.
But it, like the standard library stuff. But I don't know. Yeah, just I like it. I'm excited to try it out for real work.
Yeah, me as well. I'm excited to get to the point where I can understand kind of what I can expect to come out of any given thing that I throw at it. Because at this point, well, as we've seen, I can't even get it to work. Obviously, that's user error. But
well, I mean, it's not. It's you haven't paid for it. I think when I first installed the plugin, it popped up a little alert saying you haven't finished, setting this up. Yeah, and if you close that, it's not going to be set up, and it really involves the setup is authenticating with GitHub and logging in, and then also having an active, activating the paid. Activating the free trial, because you've got 60 days. So you could do it. You just have to, you got 60-day trial. You don't have to actually pay for it and right away.
So what you're saying is I should follow the instructions, RTFM?
No, just follow the prompts. Follow the prompts.
Yeah.
Don't ignore the prompts when it says you must do it.
All right, fine. I ignored them today just for show business, but that's all.
Okay.
Normally I follow the instructions. Cool. Okay, so it's 8:20 here in Pacific time. We've talked a little bit about prompt engineering, and I ran through my update, and you guys suffered through that. Anyone else got anything they want to go over? Otherwise, we can wrap this up early tonight. Yeah, Kurt, don't worry, I won't lord that over people. Read the effing manual.
I was wondering,
Cool.
do you guys have like a preference between PyCharm or a VS Code? I've been using Notepad++ for a long time, and I think it's time to upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I think Visual Studio Code is pretty wonderful. You know, and I'd used PyCharm in earlier, you know, periods of my life. But yeah, I prefer Visual Studio Code. I mean, it won me over just in how fast it's advanced through its whole, you know, since it started, how good it was to start with, and then how how fast it's advanced, how it's gotten, you know, so much attention and care from the people at Microsoft running it to the contributors and extension people. And yeah, I mean, like the stuff they release every month is like, you know, it's a big list. I mean, it's a good list of stuff they either improve or, you know, either they add, you know, new features or they'll spend a period just bringing in improvements. It's good. You know, I mean, they're introduced more features that, like, you know, a lot of people hadn't even thought, will probably not have, you know, thought to, you know, thought about that it would be a thing or useful. But it's like, so it's really nice to, you know, some people figured it out and then, like, you know, have introduced it, and you know, it just gives you a lot of good tools and ways of doing things.
Cool, sounds good. Yeah, and there's so many IDEs out there. It's kind of hard to choose. It's like a sea of them, feels like.
Yeah.
Personally, I use Sublime Code, and I use Sublime Code to write a PyAuto GUI script to close the pay for a license on Sublime text. No, that's not true. I didn't. I kind of jump around between them. I'm trying to use Visual Studio Code because it seems to integrate a whole bunch of things. But yeah, does anyone use Anaconda?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
The guy that put that together, I watched talk to Lex Friedman. Oliphant, I think his last name is. Not Timothy Oliphant. No. Anaconda founder. But anyway, he seems super sharp. He was like the NumPy guy, and then the SacPy guy. He's doing a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah, it's good. You know, I use like Conda to manage virtual environment, you know, like Conda virtual environments, and it's pretty good.
My thing was supposedly it works better with TensorFlow, and I always try to use Google products, often fail. But once upon a time, early in the frymatic project, I will contribute by marketing, and I started a Twitter handle for the TensorFlow project like the day after it was open source, because I knew that Google wouldn't do anything with their social media around it. So I have a Twitter handle that's called TensorFlow with no W on the end. The goal is to eventually set it up to tweet for itself. But I basically just tweeted a whole bunch of like cognitive science, like neuroscience stuff, because that's my training. Hopefully we get there. But Anaconda is supposed to be able to be a much better like package manager for TensorFlow than pip is, supposedly, according to the guy himself. We'll see one day.
Yeah, I recommend if you're gonna do any, you know, Python based machine learning stuff, or, you know, just data stuff, like using if you're going to be using pandas, I like installing it with into Conda environments. Have a lot less trouble with dependencies.
Yeah, and that's how it was pitched when they were talking about it. Thanks,
Any
Brian.
major gotchas with Conda?
You asked, are there any gotchas?
Do gotchas to Anaconda?
Yeah, like things that you wish they wouldn't be there. Things one has to watch out before one uses it.
I don't know anything specific. It's you install it. It's self-contained. I mean, there's lots of. No, I mean, I don't know of any like real gotchas. It's not gonna. You install it on your computer. It's not gonna mess with anything else. It's a lot better than just like pip installing something on your computer's global Python installation for sure, because that's a good way to mess things up on your computer. So like use Homebrew. I recommend using Homebrew to install Anaconda, and then learn how to use the Conda as package manager. So so you can tell it to create basically a contained virtual environment with a specific version of Python, and and then you can install your dependency, any project specific dependencies, like do any pip installs right into that. And then you can switch to different ones. I guess it's not really a gotcha with Conda itself, but if you've got one of the new Apple Silicon computers, yeah, no, that's not really a Conda installation issue. That's more of like if you've got an Apple Silicon computer, you got to watch out about installing things that are Intel x86 64 versus M1 dependencies, because there's a bunch of stuff in the like programming, like Python environment and dependencies that are not yet ready for Apple Silicon. So you'll be working fine using, maybe working fine using the Apple Silicon architecture, and all of a sudden something you really need is only on Intel, and then you run into having to go back to everything being accessing everything through the Intel version and the Rosetta compiler. But yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, all right. I think I'm about out of content for the day. John, thanks so much for stepping up and sharing on the Copilot text.
Yeah, my pleasure.
stuff.
That was a great prompt, actually. I'm glad I got on here because I've just been kind of ignoring it because I've been using Bitbucket for code, Git stuff, repos, and that was. Well, I wish I could use Copilot, and now I can. So that's awesome.
Woohoo! Well, if you're feeling up to it, maybe sometime in the future, SacPy you could present on it. But watching you do it actually was kind of a kick in the butt for me too. I want to make that work for me.
Yeah, it's not. It's like I was like typed def main, and it's like bloop, fills it out. And it didn't like fill out the whole function at once. It was like, okay, it knew I was trying to print hello world first, and then so put that, and then I'm like comment on, okay, print out some input, then it would do one line, and then after I accepted that, oh well, if you like that line, you like this one next, and in the other case, I typed the print Mondays, or or the Mondays next Monday, and it filled out like a lot of that, all the taking the input of the date time and printing it back out and whatnot. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it gave you a good 5-6 lines of code. Just a handful of things. There's like date equals, and it was like blah blah blah. Pretty cool. Right. Cool. Well, all right. In the future, we're always open for additional speakers. I will step up every few months in order to, give an update on my thing. Anytime I got some Python to show, I'm happy to do so. I'm really hoping to show you guys the Twilio Discord thing working in Python. We did a thing in a hackathon that was mostly Node.js, but I like Python. So if you want to speak, there's the QR code. So far, no one's filled that one out. You can always just talk to me on like Slack or Discord too. We got a mailing list that has, I might set up a Substack for it or something like that. I'm not quite sure. I want to do something with Substack at some point. It's either this or some other project. I don't know. But yeah. Cool. Before we log off, anyone got any announcements? Got any job openings? Got any beta tests you want to invite people to? Got any GitHub repos you want pull requests on? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Can you come back with the QR code just for a second?
Which one, the mailing list or the speaking? This one?
Both.
Okay, there's the mailing list. Did you get it?
Yep.
All right, and there's the speaking.
Okay, I think I got it.
Awesome. Yeah, Kurt, if you've got anything in the future, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And thanks to everyone for showing up tonight. This was fun. Sorry we missed you last month, but I should be around next month. Should be good. All right, well, thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your night, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you for holding this.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. All right, see you people.